Creative process, I think I think it's impossible to think, let's come up with a global idea. I think it all starts locally. You come up with something personal. So it starts so local, it's personal to you probably, or something that you read or somebody you've seen. I mean, so many of our ideas are torn from newspapers, magazines, or stories we've heard from friends or whatever, and then we bring to our creative team. And every week we have 2 creative sessions, one on a Monday and one on a Thursday. And we tend to just, I suppose we've always focused on universal subjects, and I think that's why they travel so well. But we never sit there and go, oh, I wonder if this idea will sell in India. Or we just think about ideas that touch us and we think are good probably for ourselves first and foremost, and then that will work in the UK, and then they work beyond and beyond. To a certain extent, I think that if the idea is good and the character's good and the story's well told, the medium by which it's consumed is irrelevant, you know. But perhaps sometimes it will lead to things being a slightly more short form. But we found that some of our programs, particularly our younger programs, the viewing figures come through on terrestrial, and then we get the viewing figures for the download afterwards. And on younger programming, it's phenomenal. Sometimes it's up to 1/3 of the audience figure is coming from video on demand or downloads. And we find on younger programs the social engagement's much, much higher. So we have to take that into account. But it's not making us think about different subject areas, it's just making us think it's consumed differently. I've always been motivated to take subject matters that matter, so things that are important, not trivial, and then I think what we've tried to do is package them in very popular wrapping paper. So you take something really, really difficult sometimes, it could be eating disorders, and be unafraid to package it in a very popular way, and then we end up with Freaky Eaters, which was a series that sold all around the world, or say OCD, you know, obsessive compulsive disorder, where we've done obsessive compulsive cleaners, and we've turned that, rather than making issue-led programming, we've taken serious things that matter in people's lives and made very, very accessible ways in to do them. And I think the other thing is that we combine, we play with form. So we don't say we're documentary or we're formatted, or we don't have a sort of, everybody in our company has to do everything. So we don't think of ourselves as one particular genre. We play with genre and play with form. And I think that that's also quite an important part in creativity, because I think you can be documentary and get yourself too serious and too straight and too rigid in the way you do things, or you can be too entertainment. And what we tend to do by living on that hybrid of factual entertainment, we I think are very creative in the way we approach subject matters. I've seen a real change in that the presenter, I call them renter presenters, have almost disappeared. So the person where they stand with a microphone and go, hello, I introduce you to, has almost redundant. We've been in the era of the expert, or I would say the popular person becoming, the character becomes the main presenter in themselves. You don't need a presenter, it's character-led. So it's character-led or expert-led, and the role of the sort of bland renter presenter seems to have disappeared.